The Book of Enoch as a guidebook for life from the Bible. For centuries, the Book of Enoch lay hidden, its pages sealed in mystery. Until now, scientists have finally cracked open this ancient text, and what they've uncovered is nothing short of mind-blowing. Within its verses lie visions so terrifying they were considered too dangerous to be included in the Bible, yet this lost book is also packed with wisdom that directly influenced some of its most iconic writers. Join us as we uncover secrets that were revealed when scientists finally opened the Book of Enoch. Secrets of the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch is a mysterious and ancient work that has captured the imagination of scholars and spiritual seekers alike. In 2019, podcaster Joe Rogan and researcher Graham Hancock discussed this fascinating book, particularly focusing on its apocalyptic visions and the tale of the Watchers, also known as the fallen angels. Rogan pointed out how the Book of Enoch ties into broader themes of human history, raising an important question. Why was this book excluded from the biblical canon? And how would things have been different if it had been included? To grasp the significance of the Book of Enoch, we need to understand what makes it so unusual. The Book of Enoch is divided into 5 distinct sections, each contributing a unique perspective on the mysteries of creation, divine justice, and the fate of humanity. The Book of the Watchers is the first section of the Book of Enoch, consisting of 36 chapters that dive into one of the most fascinating and mysterious narratives in ancient religious texts. The story begins with a dramatic account of angels, known as the Watchers, descending to earth. These angels are drawn by the beauty of human women, and they make a fateful decision to abandon their heavenly duties to marry them. This event sets off a chain of cosmic consequences that shape the rest of the narrative. In the beginning, the Watchers are portrayed as powerful and noble beings sent to Earth to watch over humanity. However, their descent marks the start of a great corruption. The angels take human wives, an act that is forbidden, and marks their rebellion against the divine order. These unions produce offspring called the Nephilim, who are giant, monstrous beings that wreak havoc on Earth. Their strength and size allow them to consume human beings, leading to widespread destruction. The Nephilim's violent actions and the teachings they receive from their angelic fathers spread corruption and evil across the earth. The arts and knowledge they impart, ranging from sorcery to the making of weapons, result in warfare, strife, and the breakdown of moral order. As the situation worsens, the earth becomes filled with bloodshed and chaos, and the cries of humanity reach the heavens. The Watchers, realizing the enormity of their sins, seek redemption. They ask Enoch, a righteous man who has remained faithful to God, to act as an intermediary between them and the Almighty. Enoch, who is described as a visionary and prophet, is tasked with delivering their plea for mercy. He ascends to the heavens and is shown an array of divine revelations, including the workings of the natural world and the reasons behind the Watchers' inevitable judgment. In his heavenly journey, Enoch is told that the Watchers cannot be forgiven for their transgressions. Their actions have caused irreversible damage to the natural order and have tainted the purity of creation. God reveals to Enoch that the Watchers, along with their Nephilim offspring, will be bound in chains and cast into a pit as punishment for their rebellion. This fate of eternal imprisonment is a reflection of their severe violation of divine law, and the punishment serves as a warning to others about the consequences of defying God's will. The Book of the Watchers not only recounts a dramatic tale of angelic rebellion, but also delves into deeper theological themes. It explores the origins of evil and the dangers of forbidden knowledge. The Watchers teach humanity arts and sciences that are meant to remain hidden, unleashing a tide of violence and darkness. It also introduces the idea of divine judgment and the ultimate accountability of those who sin against God's creation. Although the Book of the Watchers is not part of the canonical Bible for most Christian traditions, it has had a significant impact on religious thought. The themes of divine judgment, angelic fall, and the Nephilim have influenced later theological discussions and inspired various works of literature and art. For many, the story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of pride and the consequences of crossing the boundaries set by God. As we explore the profound theological themes in the Book of the Watchers, it's impossible to ignore how these ideas echo in the New Testament, particularly in the writings of early Christian leaders. Enoch and New Testament. The relationship between the Book of Enoch and certain books in the New Testament, particularly Jude and 2 Peter, offers a fascinating look at how early Christian writers were influenced by ideas that were ultimately left out of the Bible. While many people know that Jude quotes the Book of Enoch in verses 14-15, the deeper connection between 1 Enoch and both Jude and 2 Peter, especially regarding their shared ideas about judgment, fallen angels, and false teachers, is often overlooked. By closely comparing these texts, we can better understand how early Christians shaped their beliefs and how they drew from both biblical and non-biblical sources. Jude, 2 Peter, and 1 Peter are all letters written to address similar problems in early Christian communities, false teachers who were spreading dangerous ideas. The writers of these letters were deeply concerned with protecting the faith from these misleading teachings. What's interesting is how these writers used similar ideas and even drew from the same sources, particularly 1 Enoch, which was not part of the Bible, but was influential in Jewish and early Christian thought. Jude and 2 Peter have many similarities in both their structure and their content. For example, both begin with a greeting and then move on to warn about false teachers. They use similar language with terms like denying the master and licentiousness to describe the actions of these teachers. The emphasis on judgment and punishment for wrongdoing is another key theme they share. This shows how 2 Peter closely follows the style and message of Jude, while also expanding on some of Jude's points. One of the most significant parallels between Jude and 2 Peter is their reference to the fallen angels. Jude 6 talks about angels who did not keep their own position, but left their proper dwelling, and are now kept in chains, awaiting the final judgment. This idea of fallen angels being punished for their rebellion is also a central theme in 1 Enoch, where a group of angels, called the Watchers, descend to earth and corrupt humanity by mating with human women. Jude's description of these angels in chains directly echoes 1 Enoch, where the angels are bound and waiting for judgment. 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 4 also references these fallen angels. It says that God did not spare the angels when they sinned, but cast them into Tartaros, a deep abyss where they are held until the judgment. This is strikingly similar to what Jude says, and it shows how both letters rely on the ideas found in 1 Enoch. In fact, 1 Enoch is much more detailed about the fate of these angels, describing how they will be punished and locked away for their actions. The connection between the Book of Enoch, Jude, and 2 Peter is clear, especially when you consider that 1 Enoch was well known in Jewish and early Christian circles, even though it was not included in the Bible. Both Jude and 2 Peter also draw on the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. In the Book of Enoch, the sin of these cities is associated with sexual immorality, which is similar to the sin of the fallen angels. Jude 7 says that the people of Sodom and Gomorrah indulged in sexual immorality and went after other flesh, directly linking their behavior to the actions of the fallen angels. This interpretation of the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah, focusing on sexual immorality, comes from later Jewish writings like the Book of Enoch, not from the Old Testament. Again, 2 Peter echoes this idea, mentioning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah as examples of divine punishment for the wicked. Finally, both Jude and 2 Peter use the phrase, slandering the glorious ones, a phrase that doesn't appear anywhere else in the New Testament, but is found in the first section of the Book of Enoch. This phrase refers to the angels or celestial beings, and it shows how both Jude and 2 Peter share a concern for the proper respect for these heavenly beings. This language also hints at the theological importance of angelology in early Christian thought, which was heavily influenced by 1st Enoch. Building on the themes of divine judgment and celestial beings, the Book of Parables takes these concepts further, offering a deeper exploration of righteousness and the ultimate triumph over evil. Divine judgment and the Son of Man. The second section of the Book of Enoch, the Book of Parables, explores profound themes of divine judgment and the eventual triumph of righteousness. The Book of Parables builds upon earlier writings, such as the Book of the Watchers, but it introduces more elaborate ideas about judgment and redemption. While the Watchers focuses on fallen angels and their corrupting influence on humanity, the parables expand this scope, exploring the destiny of both heavenly beings and earthly rulers. Central to this expanded vision is the figure known as the Son of Man, a title that carries profound significance in both Jewish and Christian thought. The Son of Man is depicted as a messianic figure, referred to by other titles such as the Righteous One, the Chosen One, and the Messiah. This character is described as sitting on the throne of glory, presiding over the final judgment of the world. According to the Book of Parables, this Son of Man is not just a human leader, but a pre-existent divine being with universal authority. This portrayal is considered one of the earliest uses of the title Son of Man in Jewish literature, predating its widespread use in Christian texts. For early scholars like R.H. Charles, the Son of Man in the Book of Parables closely mirrors Christian theological views of Christ. Charles argued that this figure's pre-existence, cosmic dominion, and role in divine judgment could be interpreted as a precursor to Christian ideas of Jesus as the Messiah. However, this interpretation is not without debate. Scholars like Emil G. Hirsch propose that the title Son of Man in this context may not necessarily denote a supernatural Messiah. Instead, they see it as part of a broader apocalyptic tradition that emphasizes God's justice and the emergence of a righteous ruler who will restore order to the world. Interestingly, the Book of Parables doesn't just focus on abstract eschatology, it also contains potential historical references. Some passages seem to allude to figures like Herod the Great, suggesting that parts of the text may have been composed or redacted as late as 4 BC. This complicates efforts to date the Book of Parables, as it blends earlier traditions with later developments. Additionally, scholars like Darrell D. Hanna argue that certain sections, particularly those about Noah, may represent even later additions. These passages reflect themes found in Noah-focused apocryphal writings, suggesting that the Book of Parables drew from a rich and varied pool of traditions. Another point of interest is the stylistic shifts found within the parables, particularly in chapters 70 to 71, which many believe are later revisions. These chapters transition from a third-person narrative to a first-person perspective, altering the tone and structure of the text. Such shifts have led some to view these chapters as appendices or later interpolations, rather than integral parts of the original composition. The Book of Parables itself is divided into 3 distinct parables, each exploring different aspects of its apocalyptic vision. The first parable introduces the coming judgment of the wicked and the vindication of the righteous. It also highlights the roles of 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, who are central figures in the heavenly hierarchy. The second parable delves deeper into the fate of the unrighteous and apostates, envisioning a world renewed through the establishment of a new heaven and earth. This section also emphasizes the Son of Man as the ultimate judge, tasked with bringing justice to the kings and mighty rulers who have oppressed the righteous.